Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be pretty much a chatty get ready with me video. I am playing with a lot of new products. In the title, I've called this my Face Atelier kind of try-on video. If you're not familiar with Face Atelier, which you might not be, Face Atelier is a line of makeup, and it's kind of more known in the makeup artist world. It's not really a makeup for the masses type of brand. You're really not going to find this in Sephora or any retailer. It's a Canada-based company that I discovered probably 10 years ago at the makeup show in New York. And what I fell in love with was their foundation, the Face Atelier Ultra Foundation. I have raved about this foundation. If you've been following me for any length of time, you've probably heard me reference it or talk about it. I did do a couple of videos where I featured it, which I will link down below. And that was the only product that I had tried. I had purchased it in almost every shade range for my makeup kit. And then I started talking about my channel, and you guys loved it, and a lot of you have ordered it and left comments that you love it too. And so I reached out to Face Atelier just to say, hey, you know, I have a YouTube channel. I love this foundation. What can you tell me about it that I should relay to my subscribers? And they got in touch with me and they said, we would love to send you some more product. And so they did, and I wanted to kind of showcase it in this video. This video is not sponsored. I was not even asked to do this video. I was not paid to do this video, but I really love when I can share a product that you probably hadn't heard of and you probably wouldn't have heard of, and then you love it too. I mean, that's kind of my biggest gratification, is when I share something new with you. And so I love sharing brands that you probably wouldn't have heard of otherwise. All right, let's go ahead and wrap this intro up so we can get started with I guess we could call this a tutorial. If you're not subscribed to my channel, please do so before you leave, and also follow me on Instagram and Facebook. I also have a blog, madeupmom.com, which you can check out and subscribe to my newsletter. I do weekly newsletters where I kind of let you know what's coming up on my channel coming up, and then I also ask you for suggestions and advice and ideas for upcoming videos. And I really do listen to that, so please, if that interests you at all, definitely check out my blog and sign up for that. All right, you guys, let's go ahead and get started. So the only thing that I have on my face right now is some moisturizer, and I have a tiny bit of eyebrow pencil. I did get microblading done a few weeks ago, you guys probably remember. I'm due for my touch-up appointment on Tuesday, and I'm going to have her fill in a little bit more here because I do find myself having to use a pencil in some spots, but for the most part, there's very little work that I have to do to my brows because of microblading. Great. Then I am going to put a primer on my skin. I talked about this in my favorites video. It's the Milk Makeup Blur Stick. This is the only Milk makeup product that I have tried, and I love it. It is one of my favorites at the moment. And I'm just going to really apply this in the center of my face because that's where I have visible pores. And you know what, let's just go ahead and put a little bit in the forehead too. And so you know what, let's just put it all over. I'm just going to start in the center of my face, and then I might end up putting it all over my face. And then I'm just going to kind of rub it in with my fingers. It's a very, very lightweight product. Even though it's in a stick, it's not sticky or heavy at all. It's very lightweight and very smooth. Okay, so the foundation that they sent me that I'm so excited to share with you, I actually have been using this for a couple of weeks now. I talked about this in my favorites video. It's the Face Atelier Ultra Skin Foundation. So the foundation that I have raved about and love is the Ultra Foundation. I have stocked that in my makeup kit for years. I have always used that on weddings because it's a very versatile foundation that looks beautiful on a 20-year-old and an 80-year-old. So when you're dealing with bridesmaids and you're dealing with the great-grandmother of the bride, it's going to look beautiful on all skin types. And so that's the foundation that I have experience with that I love. This is a newer one, and I didn't have any expectations of it when they sent this to me. I hadn't heard anything about it, and to be honest, when I got it, I thought it looked kind of like a BB cream. Like the packaging reminds me a lot of like a BB or a CC cream. So in my head, I kind of assumed it was going to have sheer light coverage. It was going to have more of a dewy, satiny finish, but I was quite surprised. It offers a little bit more than that. So I'm going to apply this for you. So you do get 1 ounce in this. It is PETA approved, so I know that is a big concern for a lot of us. And this brand, the whole brand, Face Atelier, is PETA approved. I'm just going to read you just what it says on the bottle, and then I did email my contact there to ask them just for some more information so that I didn't skip anything or miss anything. But it's basically a flawless finish, silicone-based, long-lasting, buildable coverage, heat and moisture resistant, oil and fragrance free. So it's pretty thick. When you do a first pump, you can see that it doesn't really move too much at all. I have found that my favorite way to apply this is with a brush. I tried a beauty blender, but I didn't really get the coverage that I wanted, and I ended up using more product than I wanted, so I prefer to use a brush. And I'm just using the It Cosmetics dual-ended concealer and foundation brush. And I'm just going to kind of press this in the center of my face. One thing my contact there said to me was that sent me, the info that she sent to me, it says that it gives the coverage and finish of a foundation, but the benefits of a skincare product. And it does feel really hydrating when you first apply it. Like, it does look almost like a CC cream or a BB cream. It looks very hydrating, like it's got skincare benefits to it as well. But it does set pretty well. I mean, I don't feel the need to set it with a powder. The first time I applied this, when I first got it, before I read any information on it, it did look really dewy to me initially, so I did set it with a powder, and then throughout the day I noticed that it looked really matte. Not bad, but just a lot more matte than I expected it to for the little amount of powder that I used. And then once I did a little more research on this product and I realized, oh, it's a self-setting makeup, I don't need to set it, then I've been applying it that way, and I kind of like that way more for every day. The full matte finish using a powder is not bad, but it's definitely a more like made up look. So maybe on like special occasions or photography, if you're ever taking photographs, that would be something that you might do. But for every day, you really don't need to set this. It is buildable. So initially, I don't feel like you get a ton of coverage from this, but I do find that you can build it to get more coverage, which is what I've been doing. I do just apply a little layer first. Rather than apply a lot of product initially, I like to apply a little bit, let it set for a minute, and then go back and add a little more just in the areas that I need to, which is always right in here. So that's what we're gonna do in just a second. All right, then I'm gonna do about a half a pump, and I'm gonna go in the center of the face and just add a little more coverage there. So the big difference to me between this and the Ultra Foundation, because I know that's probably a question you guys are wondering, they're both similar in the sense that I think that they both have a very natural, flawless finish. They're both beautiful. I think that they both do work well on all skin types and textures. I think initially the thing that jumps out to me the most is the Face Atelier Ultra Foundation, which is the one that I have always raved about, has more coverage up front. This one you have to build a little bit to get that coverage that you want. So I think the Face Atelier offers a little more coverage. I do think that the Ultra Skin has a little bit more of a glow finish than the Face Atelier Ultra, but it's not really dewy or glowy. I mean, the differences between these two are pretty minimal. I mean, they're both very beautiful foundations, and I think that they both would look great on all skin types. I think that the Face Atelier Ultra is going to give you a little more coverage right off the bat, and it has a slightly more, and it sets to just a slightly more matte finish. I shouldn't say matte, it's not really a matte finish, but it's a little bit more matte than this. They also sent me one of their concealers that I had not tried. It's the Face Atelier, and this is the shade Light. So it's number 1 Ultra Camouflage Duet. And it comes with 2 shades here. One has a more pinky tone to it, and one has a lot more yellow and golden undertones to it. I find for me, I like to mix the 2 of these together. I start with the yellower one because I feel like that's a little bit darker, and I'll put that underneath my eyes because that's dark enough to cancel out and cover the darkness that I have. And then if I want a little bit more of a brightness, I'll go over it with a lighter, pinkier tone. So I have just been using my fingers to apply this. The texture of it, it is creamy. You can see that it comes in a pot. Then I go back in with a beauty blender and really kind of press that in. I have felt the need to set this concealer for sure. I wore this earlier today and I did not set it well enough, and I noticed that my concealer did kind of smudge a bit on the bottom. Okay, so that's the concealer. Then I'm going to go over it with a little bit of the brightness to give a little bit more brightness, just especially here in the inner corner. And I'm going to go right above the eyebrow, just for a little bit of a highlight there. Okay, so now the foundation has had a little time to set. You can see that it still has a nice little bit of a subtle glow, but it tends to be the glow in just the right places. Like when I turn my face, I really see it hitting the high points of my face, and it's not glowy or dewy all over. So obviously it's not just glowy in those areas, but that's the glow that you're seeing because the light's hitting that spot. So the glow is pretty minimal. It's not going to get shiny or super glowy or dewy throughout the day, unless you have pretty oily skin. Okay, I am gonna set under my eyes, and I'm just gonna dip my beauty blender in the lid of a loose powder, and I grabbed the Derma Blend loose powder because honestly it was what was nearby, but I would probably use the Laura Mercier Secret Brightening Powder. I'm just gonna kind of press this right underneath my eyes to really set that concealer in place. This powder is really nice. It kind of blurs out texture too. I'm gonna set a little bit right here. I really don't need to set the foundation, but this powder has... Next, I'm gonna bronze the face, and I'm just using the Hourglass Luminous Bronze Light Bronzer. This is one of my favorite bronzers. Love this bronzer, especially when you have something lighter underneath the eyes and you just kind of frame the face with this bronzer. I just think it looks so nice. Okay. For blush, I'm going to go in with the Hourglass Incandescent Electra blush. This is a beautiful blush. It has the most subtle shimmer, so it really highlights the cheeks. It doesn't give a ton of color though, so if you like a lot of color on your cheeks, you're not really going to get it from this blush. But because I have that bronzer and that bronzer has a lot of color, I feel like this blush is just enough color, and it also gives that highlight effect. Okay, for eyes, I'm going to prime my eyes with the Milani eyeshadow primer. Doing eye makeup with lash extensions is a little tricky. That was my only hesitation in getting them back on was, you know, I wear so much eye makeup that I just have to be careful and keep them really clean. I love the way that she did them this time. The girl I go to for lashes is just amazing. I mean, she is, you tell her what you want and she's going to create it for you. Like, some lash stylists are really good and they're good at doing their certain style. And if you like that style, great. But if you get them done once and they look too thick or too curly or too long, not all lash stylists you can go to and tell them like, okay, can we go a little less curled this time? Can we go a little more cat eye? Can we go a little more round? I mean, I find that some of them just kind of do their formula. The girl that does mine, like, she can just create any look you want. This time I was like, I don't want them as curled as they were last time because that really gets in the way of applying my eye makeup. It's like I want them to, so this is a B curl. So a C curl has more of a curl. I think a B curl is a little less. So I got a B curl this time and I love it. For shadow, I'm working with the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette. I just grabbed this because I haven't played with it in a while and I wanted to play with it. And I'm going to dip in first in this shade here. This is just this light matte shade, and I'm going to use that as my eyebrow highlight. I just got Botox done again on, today is Sunday, and I got it done on, what day was that, Wednesday, Tuesday? So it takes a few days for it to kind of kick in. I can feel it, it's starting to kick in because my eyebrows are a little lifted, which I like. All right, then I'm going to go in my crease, and I'm going to use Warm Taupe, and I'm just going to give myself a little bit of a nice contour there. Then I'm going to take this shade, it's called Primavera, and it's kind of this goldeny honey color, and I'm going to apply this all over my eyelid, but leaving the very inner corner a little bare because I'm going to go in there and brighten that up with a slightly lighter shade. I'm so excited. This week I am having a new job share partner join me at work. So for those of you that don't know, I haven't really talked about what I do for work on my channel. Before I had kids, I worked in advertising sales. So I spent most of my work life at a TV station. So I sold commercials. So if you saw a commercial on TV, those were my clients, the advertisers. And then when I had my first daughter, I was a stay-at-home mom. And then I had my second daughter. So I was home for about 3 years, and then when my second daughter was about a year old, I decided I wanted to go back to work part-time. So I started working at a radio station in a job share situation. So I worked Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then my job share partner worked Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So we basically had an account list and we shared everything, and it was nice because I got to work. I worked a few days, and then I had 2 days off during the week with my kids. And I was there for about a year and decided that I needed to make a change. I needed to work for kind of a smaller company. I work for a family-run business. So actually the owner of my business is a friend, and he's the third generation. So his grandfather started the company, and then now he's president of the company. And it's just such good people. Like, I couldn't work for better people, really couldn't, which is really what I needed. I needed to find that in a work environment. I needed to work for people that I just felt appreciated, you know, and didn't come home and feel, you know, just stressed all the time. And so about a year ago, I left the radio station and I left my job share partner, which I was really sad to do, but I went to work for this other company. And then recently I've been able to recruit my old job share partner, her name is Stacy, to come work with me at this new company, or this company that I've been at for a year. So I'm so excited. I was just working 3 days a week. He was, my boss was so great to just let me work 3 days like I had worked in my old job, but I didn't have a partner. So even though I was off on Monday and Fridays, I had to still kind of be available, of course, to my clients. And now that I'm going to have a job share partner, it's just going to be a lot more support, and I'm just really excited. She starts this week, and I'm so excited that we ended up back together. Okay, so what I did was I just highlighted the very inner corner with this shade Vermeer, which is probably my favorite shade in the palette. I love this palette, period. I mean, there's obviously some that I don't use very often, but the rest of them really make up for the ones that I don't use, and this one is one of my favorites. I just love the texture of this shadow. It's so beautiful. Okay. Okay. Where's my... Then I'm just going to line the outer half and corner of my upper lid. That's a lot to take in, with a black liner. I'm using the Physicians Formula. This is like the one that's supposed to help your lashes grow. I don't really know how much I buy into that, and so I'm just creating the tiniest little flick out here, not much. And so I didn't take the eyeliner all the way to the inner corner. Because I have lash extensions, I really don't even need liner very much because my lashes are so thick at the base that it creates the look of liner. But I did want to extend this line out just a little bit, so. Then I'm going to line the inner rim of my eye, and I'm using the Kryolan eye pencil in the shade 905. This is probably my favorite pencil to line the inner rim of the eye. It's just like the perfect color. This is another brand that is unknown, I think, I feel like this brand is more known among professional makeup artists. It's called Kryolan, and they make makeup for theater, and I discovered them years ago, but they have a line of pencils, and this isn't necessarily an eyeliner pencil or a lip pencil. It's just called a contour pencil, and they come in different shades. And the shade 925 I love for a nude lip liner, and then this shade I love for the inner rim. This guy needs to be sharpened. Then I'm going to run this on my lower lash line, and I'm just going to soften this with a little bit of shadow and also set it. So I'm going to go back into that palette, and we're going to take, again, we're just going to take Warm Taupe, and we're just going to go right on top of that eye pencil. And then I'm going to pop a little mascara on my lower lashes only. This is the Chanel Le Volume. For lips, we're going to go back to Face Atelier, some lip products that were sent to me. They sent me 2 lipsticks, 2 lip glosses, and then a product called Lip Putty. When I was looking at products to select, I really wanted to pick products that I thought you guys would be interested in. And the Lip Putty stood out to me because this product is basically kind of a primer that you put on before your lipstick, and its purpose is to really kind of help prevent the look of lines around the lips, kind of fill in the lips, make the lips look a little more youthful, a little more full. So it's basically like a lipstick primer. I've used this twice before, and I really haven't formed an opinion of it yet. I wasn't blown away by it, so I'm still trying to decide, trying to figure out the best way to use this. But I don't have anything on my lips right now, and I'm just going to kind of apply this pretty liberally all over my lips. If I don't have something on them, they feel very dry. All right, let me really look at this. So this definitely does minimize the appearance of the lines on my lips, for sure. It almost works, I mean, I shouldn't even say almost, it does. It does work like a primer for your skin, but for your lips. Right off the bat, I can tell within a matter of seconds that it softened all the lines on my lips. You can still see them, but they look a lot softer. It really, to me, is very comparable to, if you think of like a great primer that you put on your skin and makes your skin look smoother and softer, that's what it does for your lips. It's not thick or glossy, it's not drying, it's not really hydrating, it's kind of somewhere in between. It really doesn't feel like you have much on your lips. It hydrates them a tad. If you didn't have anything on your lips, it does give a little bit of a slip to them, but it really feels like you don't have anything on. Then they sent me 2 lipsticks, and I talked about these in my favorites. They sent me Diamond Pink and Coral Reef, and I'm going to use Coral Reef because it's my favorite at the moment. So Face Atelier is not an inexpensive brand. It's definitely more on the high end. When you get the products, I will be straight up with you. You're probably not going to be impressed by the packaging because the packaging is nothing fancy, but the quality is really great. I mean, I think that that's what you pay for. A lot of I think that a lot of times in makeup you pay for the name or you pay for the packaging. Face Atelier is a brand that I really feel like you pay for the quality. I'm going to apply this lipstick, a Coral Reef. It is such a beautiful, beautiful pinky coral shade. I love it. So it's very pigmented. I mean, you can see that even just like one swipe you get a lot of color, but it's not a thick, heavy feeling on the lips. It's not matte, but it's not a glossy, thick cream lipstick either. It's kind of in between the two. If I just leave the lipstick on alone and I don't apply the gloss, I think that it does have a pretty long wearing effect. I mean, eating and drinking, you'll have to touch up. But even so, after I eat or drink with this, the color still kind of stains the lips. I just love this color. I even love it alone without any gloss on top of it. Because I have the gloss and I want to show it off, I'm going to put a little bit on. They sent me the lip glaze in a full size of the peach, and then they sent me a lip glaze petite in the shade Memphis. I love them both, but I've really been gravitating towards this peach a lot. It's a little more sheer, so you can kind of put it on top of lip products. I really love this lip combination. Okay, you know what? I'm going to say that I really do like that lip putty. I'm going to say that it really does make a difference in making your lips look, I shouldn't say bigger. I'm going to say full because it does kind of fill the lines in and smooths it out. And so in result, that makes your lips look a little more full, but it doesn't really make your lips look bigger. I wouldn't call it a lip plumper. But it does give the lips a much smoother effect, which in result looks a little more plump, and it also looks a little more youthful. Okay, well that sums it up, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this little kind of chatty, get ready with me style of video. I am going to film a couple more videos tonight that you guys will see up on my channel soon. If you want to see a full review of this foundation, if you want me to apply it and do my whole 10-hour check-in throughout the day type of video, let me know in the comments section below. I'm happy to do that. I will probably do it whether you want to see it or not. It might take a couple weeks to get up because I do have a lot of content already planned and filmed over the next week or 2 weeks. So, but I do want to know what you guys think and what you want to see. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you for your support. I will leave everything that I used linked down below, and I hope you guys have a fantastic day. I will see you soon. Bye.